Why Duolingo has crashed 26% today. Let's see together. But before that, read the disclaimer right here in the video description below. And also join us, TNST, the most popular stocks of the US market and also the European market. That's a minus 40% year to date, which is insane. It all started back in May 2025 when it was trading in new highs. And actually, I'm very surprised because the fundamentals actually, they really look good. We're talking about nearly 300 million of net income after this release of the earnings release. I'm very surprised by it. It was trading with a market cap of 24 billion when it was making back then 30 million of net income per quarter, and now that we have an extraordinary quarter, we just have experienced like a huge crash. So why is this happening? It's not because of the present, I can tell you that, but because of the future outlook. So first of all, guys, we have here some news. So apart from this incredible strong revenue growth in profitability, they improve a lot, so we're talking about daily active users more than 36% year over year. That's incredible data. And paid subscriber increased to 11.5 million, another 34% increase. So in terms of fundamentals, it looks really good. And the operating margin expanded. We're talking about reported at around 13% for the quarter versus 7% in 2024. And the net income, as you can see, the most important factor, for me, the most important indicator, we're talking about new highs. We're talking about the best results ever for the company. This is the truth. But the outlook is different. Here we could be talking about some breaking news. I'm gonna read them, and as you can clearly see, here are the reasons. The first reason is like soft forward guidance. What happened here is like they are expecting less growth for the upcoming quarters. They're talking about also a shift in the strategy in the strategic focus toward teaching quality over near-term monetization. The near-term monetization normally is like they are forcing you essentially to subscribe in order to receive essential features, So maybe they are moving towards like more quality, like the free plans having like good enough, could be good enough for users. And then if you want to upgrade, you're going to receive something really good, but optional. If that happens, obviously in terms of revenue it could go down, but it doesn't make any sense. If you're a business, you don't do that. Maybe they are trying to tell you that they're going to focus more on the quality of the product, but without putting into danger the financial results. That's essentially what a business does. So this is kind of tricky, because that minus 26%, it could be an overreaction. And if we are talking about an overreaction, we're talking about a good buying opportunity. So the only risk that I see here for now, we're gonna see more news here, is just the market crash. Not only that Duolingo is crashing, but the general Nasdaq 100 is crashing. If we see a crisis in tech companies, obviously Duolingo is gonna suffer because it's a small company, a small cap company. So the third reason, guys, valuation concerns and investor expectations. So after all this, has been said, investors right now are closing positions because of that. For me, as I mentioned, it's an overreaction, but we'll see, because normally this is an opportunity and other investors may come in. It usually happens when they realize exactly what's happening and what it could happen in the future. And user growth and monetization deceleration signals. But as I mentioned, guys, if they have this growth in the user base, they don't normally lose it. It's like, okay, you have these 11.5 paid subscribers. They are not gonna go, disappear right now. Maybe the growth is less, but still, the important thing is like when we have like a new highs right here, and we see this news, okay, you may think, okay, the growth is over. But if we are in minus 41%, the situation is different. Because we're talking about, as I mentioned earlier, guys, it's like the net income before, when it was making new highs, it was 40 million around that figure. And right now, it's an exceptional figure. And maybe we could go down definitely a little bit. But still, we have here the estimate 0.83. So that's important, because 0.83 is a little bit better than the previous earnings that we're talking about. So if we go back to December, in December last year, it was 0.28. So we're talking about that the next year we're gonna get, when these release, when these earnings are released, we're gonna get 4 times or almost between 3 times and 4 times the revenue that we got last year, the EPS. So that's very, very important. So still, even though we experience less growth, it's more growth than the last year, and this is the important figure right here. We're talking about better results in comparison to the previous year. We won't get 300 million because this is completely exceptional. Maybe yes, I don't know, but apparently it's like it's gonna be better than the previous year when we're talking about the same quarter. So still, it's gonna be good. So in my opinion, having said that, in terms of fundamentals only, it's a good buying opportunity. If we go to the technical analysis, I would say we have also a good opportunity. Let's go to let's add the moving average right here. We're gonna go to the weekly chart, which is insane. So normally the best time to buy the stock is after a red line. So obviously right now we are in the middle of a red line. We may wait for a support level to appear, and when we receive this support level and we see it, you may buy it. Normally in this case we can study the previous support, the previous crash. It was kind of weird, it's not, we're talking about not a huge market crash, but it was minus 27% still as today, but in several weeks. But still, here you can clearly see several green lines, and this one, it was the good one, so you may buy here, you don't know if it's the right one, but then you buy again here and you finally get it, and the uptrend is incredible. We're talking about the new highs was established back then in May 2025. It's nearly 200% in a short period of time, and this is important. You may wait to the curve, the SMA to go sideways, and then you can buy when you see a green line, for those of you who don't know, I'm using a custom indicator of the SMA, but you can just start a standard moving average. It works the same. And then apart from that, we may go to the volume profile. If we go to the volume profile, you may see different things right here, and I'm gonna just load it. Let me see this indicator. I'm gonna take some information right here. The point of control, as you can see, is way above the current price level, which is important. Here we have a lot of volume, and that's probably the reason the stock stopped, crashing right here, because of the volume activity around this level is very high. It's the highest in this area. But if we go back again, we don't have any resistance, and that's important. We will go fast way up to 260, and then the point of control is 324, and I think it's feasible. It could go back again, having in mind the good fundamentals we have. And then we go to the forecast, because this is just my opinion, of course, but we have 18 Wall Street analysts covering this stock. The average of them, and I didn't see this before, I can tell. We're talking about like a more than 75% on average, among these 18 analysts. And then the most optimistic one thinks the stock should go up to 600. That's a long way to go. It could happen maybe in 5 years, but not today. And then we have 28 analysts covering the analyst rating. And the analyst rating, 13 think the stock is a strong buy, 3 just a buy, and 11 a hold. But just only 1 thinks the stock is a strong sell, but no sell. That's important. So I think essentially they think the same as me. And then we have the EPS forecast, which is very important. We're gonna load the annual numbers. And in 2024, the reporting was a little bit worse than the estimate. But here the estimate currently, obviously, after such a good quarter, they are expecting something way higher, and 6.67 or so. It could happen, I think it can beat it. In terms of the 2026, that's the thing that I'm worried about. And probably this is the reason the stock is crashing, because, okay, we're gonna have an exceptional year in 2025, but what about the next year? So they are expecting that in 2026, the net income is gonna be, overall in the year, it's gonna be worse than in 2025. But my thinking is like, okay, it crashed like a minus 42% already from last highs or no, actually even more. If we take into consideration the last highs, that's a minus 63%. I mean, that's a long way. It's already priced in that sense, you know? So I may say, you know, we had to wait and see, but in my opinion, it should go up, you know, from current levels. It would be weird to see the stock crashing even more. So what do you think about this stock? Do you think it's a buy? Do you think it's a sell? Do you think it's better to wait and see what happens next? Leave your comments below and see you in the next video. Bye bye.